Hey, it's me, Derek, again. Of course, you see me with a good length of rope, about 50 feet of paracord to be exact, honestly. One of the things I'm going to be doing today, one of a couple of things actually I should say, is knot making, in which this will actually come in handy for many different uses. Um, right now I'm just going to go over the basic, like one of the concepts of actually tying a knot. Right now, as you can see, it's held together, which is one form of making a knot. Pretty much tying your rope together so that way it's a little more compact, a little bit easier to carry, as you can see, and it keeps it all together. Another thing is actually making ends. Of course, you want to make ends meet. I got two ends right here, and 50 feet of rope. Other than that, I'll show you guys one or two different ways of making a knot. One being a square knot, in which it helps, keep something a little bit tighter together. Another is a loop knot, basically how you tie your shoes, which is the butterfly method, as you can see, which would be a slip knot also, in which I'll also be doing one of those, but a little bit later on. But right now I'm just going to go over the basic necessities for knot making, which you basically take your rope. You can undo it too. Got rope. The square knot, you take a piece of rope, you loop it through, you do that, then you take it again, you loop it through, let's see if I can get this right. Alright, you loop it through, you pull it tight, then you loop it back through, and that's how you make a square knot. Notice how it kind of resembles a square. The basic knot. That way you pull it, it's hard to come undone. And as you can see, I'm actually having a little trouble untying it, but it can be done. Another type of knot would be the slip knot, where same basic idea. Instead of going through, you loop it through like that. Then that hole right there, you pull it through, make sure it's still loose, and if you want to make sure it's more secure, you take the same type of knot that I showed you before, you have to loop it through, then you go through again, thus giving you a square knot. And you can still, as you can see, I can still move it back and forth, tighten it, loosen it, whatever. That way, when something comes into it, you pull tight. As you can see, it's held in there. And as long as you have some sort of pressure, it's not going to get out. Use my hand as an example for a slip knot. Those are the two basic knots you want to use for, especially if you're going to be outdoor survival. In which this will also help with traps and stuff. In which I'll also tie that in a little bit right here, right now. Go figure, tying knots, tie it in, get the joke. Ha ha ha.
You
Anyway,
suck.
thank you. I'm here till Thursday. As you can see, I still have the other end of the rope. I got more rope, in which, if you want to actually get a decent trap, and I'm not talking about a spring trap, but like a drop trap or whatever, you can use a little extra, like a weight on one end. As you can see, it's not attached to my rope or anything, so I can drop it, throw it, I'm still good.
You gotta go pick it up now, though.
Unfortunately, I have to pick it up because it's not attached to me. So right now it's a 5-pound anchor. Of course, you can see it's metal. I'll just I'll set this down real quick. Other end of the rope. This is where knot tying comes in handy. As you can see, I got a little bit of a hook right here, so I can actually feed this through. You want to make sure you actually have a good connection. As you can see, I'm gonna wrap it around a few times, so that way I know it's not gonna come off too easily or anything like that. Then what you do, you take the rope, you wrap it around the other end, you loop it through, pull tight. As you can see, now it's kind of connected, but I want to make sure I have a good connection. So I loop it through another time, thus creating a pressure knot, where the more you pull it, the less likely it is to come undone, which is different from a slip knot, which I showed you earlier. Now, all you really gotta do, well, my trap's not really working unless I actually get something high up, like a tree or a branch or whatever. And as you can see, I have some right around me, but unfortunately I have to do a little bit of traveling. And one of the major things is, if you want to make a trap and actually get something in it, you want to do it near a trail. Anyways, for like a bunny trail or like a deer trail or anything that looks out of the ordinary. As you can see right now, all you see is grass and stuff, not many trails. But the trails that you would be looking for would be like dirt, lengths of dirt or anything like that that's been used on a number of occasions. Other than that, when you actually go to make a trap, this is just one of them. You actually want to find a decent branch. Let's see. We'll use this one right here. As you can see, it's very thick, very heavy duty, and it'll actually hold up when you get a decent amount of weight to it.
No, it won't. If you can't tell, it's already breaking because of the tire swing, and that weighs like nothing.
Besides the tire swing.
Well, it is on the other half
the other
of this
branch.
one. So you're going to use the front one.
This is why I'm going to use the one that doesn't have a tire branch onto it, because that one's going to be dead.
I was thinking just use this one.
Or better yet, we can use this one. So instead of me exerting more energy, I'll just drop that right here because that's heavy. And when you're out in the wild, you want to burn as few calories as possible. And make sure everything works properly. And which I'll just pull this through. As you can still see, I have my slip knot ready. And then what you do, throw it over, pull it down, but make sure your rope isn't in a tangled mess like this is. You want to make sure it's all tangled out, detangled, however you want to put it. Just make sure you put it over the branch. That way,
what?
You actually have everything situated, and you can make sure you have plenty of rope to do what you gotta do. Of course, right now it's a little extra, but you can always go through, adjust it, and make sure you got the right length, so that way, you're not gonna drop the weight and be like, oh, I didn't have enough rope, I didn't strangle the animal I was intending to. That way, oh yeah, I'm the animal, I'm running away free.
Put her on your leg. That's safer.
Thank you. Safety first, remember. So say that you get the animal's legs tangled. You got extra rope. I'm walking away. But one of the things is, notice the weight there, and it's caught around my leg. The animal's gonna get scared. Adrenaline's gonna get going, and it's gonna try and get away as much as possible. Thus tightening the rope. And of course, it's not as smart as we are, so that way, that's all I gotta do is loosen it, take the animal out after it dies, bring it back, and you can actually eat it. I wouldn't eat it raw or anything like that. It could make you sick. I would actually cook it on a fire, which we showed you how to do earlier using the bow method.
No, we haven't.
Well, we
tried, but it's never worked.
Yeah, we showed you the technique to build a fire using the bow method. But, you know, with enough practice, you can actually get it down, and that way we can actually get a fire built within minutes of doing it. At first, it'll be very difficult to do, but once you guys actually have a technique down, you can actually, you know, do this stuff relatively quick. As you can see, I basically just built a trap within, you know, a couple of minutes, using a counterweight, a couple of basic knot tying techniques, and some improv, using a branch, some rope, and an anchor as a counterweight. You can also use, you know, some like, you know, heavy rocks, or get something together so that we can actually get more weight, less weight, or anything like that. Other than that, this is just one of your basic videos for knot tying and trap making. I'll show you a couple of other examples of traps I can use using the same basic method, where you have a weight instead of the weight holding the animal and, you know, dropping so that way it hangs them. I'll show you how to make a trap where it actually drops on the animal, thus killing it or knocking it out temporarily. But if you want to knock it out, you actually have to make sure you get to it quick and kill it before it comes to and gets away on you. Other than that, we'll show you other techniques and other trap making examples. So I hope you guys stay tuned and hope you guys enjoyed it. Alright, as far as trap making goes, sometimes you won't always have a branch or anything above your head. Another trap you'd want to make is also a box trap. Where basically, you know, you can actually go out and make a little box or have something heavy. Right now I'm just using a box for instance. As you can see, I have a box on a stick, and you know, the same rope I was using earlier. What you want to do is actually have it where you have the rope tied low on the stick, so that way none of the animals that go in are going to see it. And of course, you want to properly bait the trap too. Say that you want to get like a target animal, like a rabbit or raccoon or something small. You don't want to put something in it that you know it'll eat, that'll, you know, bring it in. And make sure it's actually near the back, or at least somewhere you can actually hang it inside, so that way that's all they'll see and that's all they'll go after. And you want to properly tie, as you can see. Do a square knot. And if you want to make sure, just do it again real quick. Triple knot it. And what you want to do is, instead of being close to the trap, you know, make sure you're a good distance away and well hidden. So that way, when the animal comes in, that's all they see. And then, of course, they're gonna want to go right inside the box.
Screw you! I'm not putting my hand in there.
And as soon as you see them go in, you pull it, you trap them. And of course, as you can see, you pull the stick away. They didn't know you were there. And if you want, you can actually add some weight to it in case they're a little bit big. And you know they're not gonna get out of here because they can't lift up heavy weights. Other than that, that's another instance where you can actually trap small animals and make sure they're not dead. And if you want, you can actually put some extra in there, so that way when it comes down, it can knock them out too. So that way when you actually lift it up, they're not going to run away or anything like that and get scared.
You do it with a rock, so you just smash them in one hit.
Exactly, and that's where the rock method comes in too, where the rock just falls right down. And there's actually a different method that I can show you with that, where it doesn't involve you being around or anything. I will show you how to make a figure 4 trap, where it's the same basic concept that I just showed you, and where you take 3 sticks and you carve it just right, so that way when you set it up, it actually sets up on it, it'll stand up on its own. And as soon as the animal actually takes a bait off of the point you make, it'll actually trip it, make everything fall apart, boom, rock lands right on top of it, knocks it out or kills it, and therefore an easy way to get your food. That I will actually show you at a later time. That does take a little more time to do, but once you actually get it set up, you can actually reuse it and it doesn't take quite as long. Other than that, that's the box fall trap. Later on I will show you the rock trap using the figure 4 configuration.